not look like this is going to be connected at the moment, but definitely some large hail falling in this area. So Jamesville, you're not technically in the warning, at least not all of you is, but I would be in my tornado safe spot. If there's a tornado, it's probably going to be just on the outside of town. So as you start to leave Janesville, the speed limit increases. You're back up to highway speeds as you head towards Plymouth. So some definitely strong winds right here. The inbound winds are not exactly as strong, matching up. I think this might even be a little bit of side lobe contamination there, meaning radar is not getting fooled, but just not giving us the best data. But regardless, do have a tornado warning that's going to be in effect for a little bit longer. This is going to be about a 45-minute warning. They can cancel it early, but I don't think they would do that anytime soon. Plymouth, you're also not technically in this tornado warning, but need to be watching this closely. Just off to your west, this is going to be heading northeast all the way up towards where the sound starts. So here's Mary Hill. You are in the tornado warning. Much of the highway stretch 45 there, all the way back down to Highway 64 underneath this warning. A little bit of Highway 17. Edenton, you're not in this tornado warning, but if for some reason they did extend that tornado warning or issue a new warning, we would likely get one that would include Edenton. So right now the highest threat is going to be right around the Jamesville area. Right over Highway 64. The next scan will probably give us that next little area of rotation moving just north of Highway 64. So Plymouth, you're very, very close. Think you're going to be okay, but you may want to get in your tornado safe spot, especially if you're on the west side. Anywhere west of Plymouth on Highway 64 really needs to be watching this storm closely, because right now it shows it over the highway, but remember, radar is just kind of a snapshot every few minutes, or really about every minute, of what radar is seeing. So as this storm starts to move, we'll pick it up again the next time radar scans it. Right now radar is scanning the storm at different levels, but we're looking at the lowest level right now down at the surface, and that's where we usually see our best data for any type of rotation or any type of tornadic activity. And it looks like they've issued another warning, so I think that's now 4 polygons we have on this one storm. Several severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 tornado warning, and the river divides 2 different National Weather Service offices. So we have 2 different offices looking at the same storm and issuing different things right now. So I'm sure your phones, if you live in this area, Jamesville, Plymouth even, probably have gone off a couple times warning you of this threat. But even if you're not in a tornado warning, if you're kind of right here, tornado warning starts right here and goes back off to the west, you need to be in your tornado safe spot just in case, so we can keep you safe there. Anywhere on Highway 64 between Jamesville and Plymouth needs to be in a closet, bathroom, hallway, anything without windows. You can use a bicycle helmet, baseball helmet. Does not have to be fancy, but as long as it protects your head, that's what we're worried about. So looks like they have issued another tornado warning. So Russell, you got any information over there?
Yes, so the tornado warning is for Bertie County that goes until 6 p.m. The storm is located right near Plymouth, moving northeast at around 10 miles per hour. The second warning that was just issued moments ago includes northwestern Washington County and eastern North Carolina, and also east central Martin County. This goes in effect until 5:45 p.m. At 5:17, the severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located near the Henson area, or just about 7 miles south and west of Plymouth, moving northeast at about 15 miles per hour. Again, both of these tornado warnings are radar indicated as of right now. Looks like it's going to be moving right along Highway 64 and also Highway 32 there very quickly.
Yeah, regardless of the tornado threat, that is some very large hail. This might be the strongest hail signature we've had all day, especially by the fact that we're further away from the radar. So some of this is really just developing up in the storm. It may not even be reaching the surface just yet, but would likely be getting our largest hailstones of the day from this storm north of Highway 64. The tornado threat's still going to be kind of down here as far as the latest scan. We should be getting a new scan here momentarily to kind of give us a better idea of where that storm's moving. But you said 10 miles per hour, Russell?
Yep, 10 miles an hour from the...
So we're not even going to put a storm track on this, because that's crawling. It's not going to be moving anytime soon if it's only going about 10 miles per hour. But it will be lazily drifting this way, north and northeast, hopefully staying west of Plymouth. Jamesville, I think right now you would be more underneath some heavy rain, but too close to call. This is where we'd be most concerned about a tornado. As of the latest scan, though, this may be drifting a little bit more northeast of town right now, but definitely large hail. All this black and kind of purple, pink color, even a little bit of white there. When those show up, that starts to kind of show us that the hail size is getting much larger than you would typically get with a thunderstorm. So maybe even up to ping pong ball sized hail so far. About $half quarter sized hail is the largest reports we've seen. So a little bit bigger than that would be tennis ball sized hail. So that, golf ball sized hail. And that hail core does look like the newest scan. It's weakened a little bit. So maybe latching on to some little boundary, Russell. You see anything that would maybe enhance the tornado threat? Because the tornado threat today was a little bit higher up in Virginia than it was, down here in North Carolina. The storm obviously getting closer to Virginia, but they seem to be really rotating a little bit more once they get close to the state line and north of the state line.
Well, this was an area that was being closely monitored throughout the afternoon by the Storm Prediction Center. A lot of storm fuel and energy, mainly in the Plymouth area, basically near Phelps Lake. There was some indication that there was going to be a little boundary setting up there. And sometimes when you get these storms that are moving, especially from the south and west, and you're intercepting some of those boundaries, you can get little weak spin ups. And at least for right now, both tornado warnings still remain radar indicated. We don't have any confirmation yet as of right now of any active tornadoes in progress, but we'll continue to monitor this very closely as it continues to move off towards the north at a very low speed.
10 miles per hour, that is not fast. So if you're up in Edenton right now and you're kind of worried, you've got plenty of time to watch this if it's only moving 10 miles an hour. That's very, very slow. Plymouth, that gives it more time, though, to maybe make a little bit more of a jog east. So we'll keep an eye on that. Right now we're using debris tracker to kind of give us an idea. Is there stuff floating around the atmosphere that shouldn't be? For reference, we're using 2 radar sites, one down at the coast, Newport, other one's up in southern Virginia. Both of those not exactly right by where this storm is. So not getting the best radar data, but if we were getting something, I think we'd be able to tell. And when you just look at the winds, you can see a little bit of that mixing, maybe getting a little bit better organized, but right now not too concerned.
That's near the Dardens location right now.
What was that, Russell?
That's near the small hamlet of Dardens, right there, right along Highway 64. That's roughly about 5 miles or so just outside of Plymouth. So that system, or that circulation, will continue moving off towards the north and east, and with it moving very slow too, Zach, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up choking.
It's a little bit better. That last scan was a little jumbled. This one you can clearly see where you have your winds. It's hard to tell exactly what radar we're using, but red are winds away from the radar site, green towards, and that's where you get the mixing. That's where you get the tornado, usually the low clouds. Now, we've had a couple reports of low clouds, have even some pictures of some very low clouds that look like tornadoes, but they're not. They're just kind of low-hanging clouds that scare you a little bit, but they're not necessarily tornadoes. So maybe someone saw something which spawned this report, but right now, it's just hard to tell. We don't have any cameras close by. Can you look up the North Carolina highway cameras, Russell, and see if you see anything between Plymouth and Jamesville that maybe you can keep an eye on? I don't think those are a continuous video feed. I think they update about every 5, maybe 10 minutes. But at least will give us something to kind of get a better idea on. If you live in this area, you see something, go ahead and call the station, email us, send me a message on Facebook or Twitter. Kind of give me an idea of what you're seeing in that area. There is curvature with this storm. The fact that it's moving so slow, I think if the storm had been moving at a normal pace like everything else was, I wouldn't be too concerned about a tornado. But the fact this one has really slammed on the brakes and you can really just see it starting to curve up a little bit, that's a little concerning. I don't like that. I wish this had a little bit more speed with it to kind of keep that storm from being able to develop any type of good core where we would get some of those that rotation. This is looking a little bit better than it did earlier. Oh yeah, the rotation is definitely starting to tighten up, and one indication that we know that the storm is strengthening is whenever you see brighter colors. So normally we look at the reds and greens, but when you start seeing those brighter greens, brighter reds, that's an indication that the winds are starting to get stronger, both winds coming towards you and moving away from you. And yeah, it's pretty persistent here. I still haven't seen anything yet from at least the Wakefield office in Morehead City
haven't seen anything quite yet. So right now, the general assumption is still indicating that this is still at least radar indicated. So we got rotation just up in the storm, but we don't have any ground truth as of right now. And also, Zach, to update you on any cameras, most of the cameras are still away from this storm.
I didn't remember any being in that stretch. This is going to be the stretch where you leave Jamesville, you're not quite into Plymouth. There's some railroad tracks, a little more curvy section of Highway 64. This is going to be pretty close to where those railroad tracks cross over Highway 64. So if you're in that area, you know where that area is. This is where any tornado would be. So hopefully we have at least some law enforcement there on Highway 64 watching this storm and ready to report back anything that they're seeing. But yeah, right here, right over Highway 64, it's still just lazily drifting about 10 miles an hour. So that's creeping. That's why we're not concerned, upstream right now. We're not going to put a track on this because it's only moving 10 miles per hour. It's going to stay in this general area until either it weakens or it starts to pick up some speed. Russell, what do you got?
We just got a report from the National Weather Service. Morehead City, Roger Martin just mentioned that there are reports of funnel clouds just to the south and west of Plymouth along the Martin-Washington County line. The strongest rotation is near or just to the east of Janesville, moving slowly towards the northeast and Plymouth. So there are reports of funnel clouds. There hasn't been a touchdown quite yet.
Yeah.
But anyone that's in this area, particularly right along Highway 64, Wilson Street, Plymouth, you need to be getting to that safe space if you can as this storm continues to move off towards that general direction.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jamesville. I think we can kind of, if you're on the east side of Jamesville's not very big, but if you're down Highway 171, you're clear. If you're on the west side of Jamesville, north side of Jamesville, I think you're fine. It's still probably raining really hard, maybe even a little bit of hail, but eastern side of Jamesville, that's where the bigger concern is going to be. And, Plymouth earlier, we kind of thought this would stay west of you. It's the way it's just lazily drifting east. I don't like that for you. So go ahead and get in your tornado safe spot if you haven't already. Hopefully it doesn't produce anything or just drifts kind of over the river, over the wooded areas. But Plymouth, there's a lot along Highway 64, so you really want to get in somewhere where you can find some shelter, especially away from windows. We'll zoom in a little bit more so we can get a little bit better idea of some of the area as this continues to slowly move.
Yeah, it looks like it's sitting right there, just very close to the Roanoke River. It's basically over some open roadways and just outside of Plymouth as of right now. But there's no distinct, at least significant neighborhoods I see as of right now in the path outside of just the main town.
Yeah, a lot of this is farmland and wooded areas. But once you start to get over here, this is kind of where the speed limit starts to drop. You go down to about 50, then 45, then eventually maybe down to 35 as you get kind of more into the center part of town. The paper plants kind of up here near the river. That's where maybe we would get a little bit more things to worry about. But still some houses over here, Elmwood, Holiday Road. That area needs to be concerned and be in your tornado safe spot. Your tornado would probably be right down in here. It's not a great signature. Radar data is not the best, but it's definitely giving us a reason to be on air and a little bit concerned there for the areas along Highway 64. Getting reports of funnel clouds, nothing confirmed on the ground, but that can change very quickly, maybe more quick than we would get word of it. So make sure you're in a tornado safe spot. This storm has just kind of got it stuck and it's allowed it to rotate a little bit faster. But right in here, right as this Highway 64 turns a little more northeast than east, that's where your tornado safe spot, or that's where the tornado would be the most likely. Obviously not the latest radar scan, so maybe drifting a little bit more east, but only moving about 10 miles per hour. So this is creeping. We're going to be focused on this area for a pretty long time, but especially right through here. Here's that little bridge, double bridge you kind of cross over going into Plymouth. So that's where you start to get into more houses, more businesses. But if you're west of Plymouth and out in the country a little bit, that's where you need to be in your tornado safe spot, and the threat is the highest at the moment. Russell?
Yep, as of right now, still radar indicated tornado warning active, at least for 545 for northwestern Washington and east central Martin counties. And then we have the tornado warning, at least on the Bertie County side, continuing on until 6 p.m. Again, the motion on this storm, has me a bit concerned there. I don't like how it's crawling there at around 10,
Yeah,
15
the slower
miles
the
per hour.
movement and the more that right jog, you can get spin ups a little bit easier. That's something you usually have to deal with in the Great Plains. Any left moving storms, or have a large hail threat. Right moving storms, that's where you start to get into just a marginal tornado threat. You can start to get a little bit higher of a threat. Also watching this storm, notice it's not just clearly yellow, that would be, or orange, that'd be a severe thunderstorm warning. It's got that red border to it. So they are watching this storm too between Wilson and Rocky Mount. So we'll get back to that other tornado warning, but just kind of wanted to give you an idea that there is another storm we need to keep an eye on as well. Not quite as impressive velocity-wise, wind-wise, showing us the spin within that storm, but still something to watch. And the National Weather Service out of Raleigh there will be keeping an eye on that. First alert live radar showing still that one tornado warning there. It's the biggest concern right now, as that storm has really just put on the brakes. Not a big storm. Can you check how much lightning's with that, Russell? Has there been an uptick in lightning? Is it have any lightning at all?
Yes, as of right now, yes, there are definitely a lot of. So we just got a new update. Let's see, from the National Weather Service, at least in Morehead City, the rotation continues to strengthen. So they're continuing to monitor the trend right now. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of lightning with this storm as of right now. Let's see if I could switch over to at least the lightning on your palette here. Yeah, there's definitely, yes, quite a bit of lightning ongoing right in the Plymouth area. And that's also a sign too that the storm is strengthening. Usually whenever there's a lot of lightning, there's signs that there's very strong updrafts taking place as well. The storm is very well surviving on its own currently as of right now.
Yeah, all these little white dots here, these are all the lightning strikes. So pretty active storm. That hill core has fallen apart a little bit. Almost looks like it's occluding a little bit. So if it's going to produce a tornado, it may be right now, and then hopefully we'll see this kind of fall apart. The inflow right through here is getting a little cut off, so that's a good thing. We kind of want that to happen, but if there is a tornado, it's going to be right in the edge of that inflow, right along Highway 64, the bend of Highway 64. Usually we put a storm track on these and kind of track it through the county, show you when it's going to arrive. It's moving 10 miles an hour, so it's really not heading anywhere other than where you can see within this the viewpoint here. But anyone west of Plymouth, and even Plymouth itself, really needs to keep an eye on this and be in your tornado safe spot. And hopefully this will pass soon. But again, it's moving 10 miles an hour. So we're going to be talking about this area between Jamesville and Plymouth quite a while. This tornado warning goes until 6 o'clock. So we've still got another 28 minutes. And they can cancel them early, but right now there's really no reason to cancel this one early. So we will keep a close eye on it. Just as the National Weather Service is doing. And right in here, depending on what radar we're using, right in here, still looking disorganized, but wouldn't be, we had funnel cloud reports earlier. It's trying to produce a tornado, and hopefully it doesn't, but just can't take that, just can't bank on that. That's not going to do anything. At least the hail threat, though, has fallen apart. Heavy rain, lightning, and probably still some pretty strong winds. Even if it's not, spinning around like a tornado, it's still going to be some pretty strong winds that'll get your attention anywhere in this bright red area and this bright green area on the west side of Plymouth. So here's kind of that creek that goes out of the river and heads south. This is kind of right where you cross over and slow down as you head into Plymouth. All this is kind of normal highway speed as you leave the Jamesville area. So that's where we're watching. There's a railroad crossing in that area as well that goes right over Highway 64. A bit of a curvier section of that highway, but if you live in the area, you probably know what I'm talking about. Where that area is. But yeah, right in there, and you notice all the polygons. There's two different tornado warnings, but kind of just treated as one continuous tornado warning. We're kind of in between two different areas there. Two different National Weather Service offices.
There has been a report that's come into our newsroom recently that there appears to be at least a funnel right along Long Ridge Road there, just outside of Plymouth. So it looks like that rotation continues to hold on there. I'm trying to look a little bit more closely, at least on
zoom down as
radar,
close as we can get,
and see where exactly.
Did you say Gray Farm Road?
Long Ridge Road.
Long Bridge Road. There's Hunter's Ridge Road. There's Gray Farm Road. It's going to be right in this area, kind of where these greens and yellows are coming together. New scan. Let's see if we can back this up a little bit. Still checking on this storm back into Nash at Edgecombe County, Wilson County. Still has a tornado possible tag on it, but this is the storm, at least right now, that has shown the better signs for any type of rotation, any type of severe weather with it right now. See if we can get, there's a little bit right there. You see this storm just continues to crawl. Any update to the speed, still 10 miles an hour?
So yes, we still have the tornado warning. They're continuing it for until 5:45. We got a local storm report in from the 911 call center in Martin County, just to the southeast of Darden, literally 1 mile southeast. Multiple reports of funnel clouds. Still no touchdown noted as of right now. So again,
so we've got I love that we have eyes on this because we don't have any cameras in the area. There's no highway cameras we can kind of tap into to get an idea. So keep passing those reports along either to us or the National Weather Service.
we just got a cloud or a picture that just been sent into my email here from the WITN desk of the funnel cloud here.
Can we get those in production? Can we get someone in the newsroom to kind of put that picture together? We can't, not while we're in severe weather coverage. Unless, Russell, if you want to hop over on Max 2 and see if you can get a picture of that. But I think it'd be easier for production to kind of give us a picture of that a little bit quicker. But yeah, based on this signature, we've had funnel clouds. We keep getting reports of funnel clouds, hoping that it's not able to produce. Today's not really a big tornado day. The tornado threat was, not even that high in Virginia, but it was a little bit higher than it was down here for us. So hoping for the best. I don't like that the storm is moving so slow. I think that's what's helping it create its own environment for a tornado.
And then we just got some new information from Roger Martin at the National Weather Service. The storm appears to be reorganizing right along the river, just to the west of Plymouth as of right now. So that's something that's pretty interesting with this system is, with it crawling at 10 to 20 or 10 to 15 miles per hour, the storm can sometimes regroup a little bit and choke itself off, but if there's just enough energy, especially present, given how the storm has been a little bit more isolated from the storms out towards the west, it can recover, and that's what appears to be going on right now, right there along the Roanoke River, just outside of Plymouth.
This is all bad data, so if you're seeing this, you're looking at how strong these winds are. It looks like we're getting some bad data, so we're going to have to use a different radar site for this, but you can still see a little bit of that mixing there. Maybe slightly less organized. We're using a different radar site, so hopefully we can get a better idea on that next scan to see if we loop this, see just how slow this storm has been moving, which is why we initially kind of thought Plymouth you'd be all right, and then it just keeps making that eastward jog as it moves off to the east. So it is reorganizing, so you kind of see those brighter colors have gone away a little bit, maybe some really windy conditions over Plymouth. Probably some strengthening winds on the backside of this, but we're not getting quite the signature we were getting earlier that made us a little bit more concerned. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that one radar scan changing colors on us, but not concerned that there's blue and pink and white. I think that's just a little bit of a graphics problem there for us on our side. But this radar is still showing that, agree with Roger at the National Weather Service, it is trying to reorganize just a little bit. Did you try to say something to me?
Oh, no, I was going to mention that we still have that warning going on until 6 p.m. at least in Bertie County as well. And
now we have two different tornado warnings. Does one expire at 5:45 and one expire at 6?
Yes, the Martin County and Washington, so Martin and Washington counties, that one will expire at 5:45. But for Bertie County, the Wakefield office in Virginia is still continuing that until 6 p.m. And then as for the storm, that is still the severe thunderstorm warning. With the tornado possible tag, that's still continuing for a while as well. And we do have the funnel cloud picture as well. By production.
That's a funnel cloud.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very concerning. Good news is, there's still a lot of daylight between the bottom of that cloud and all the way to the ground. But definitely something you don't want to see outside your front window, especially across the street from you. But if you can put me over this image, if not, that's okay. Real quick, the Nash Edgecombe storm still looking pretty disorganized. Heavy rain, lightning, probably some hail with it, but that tornado possible tag does not seem as concerning right now as what we're tracking over near Plymouth right now. We just continue to see the storm just not move. I mean, it is crawling right now. About what 20 minutes ago it was right here, and now it's barely moved over to the next town. That's why I think this has been able to become more of a tornado threat than any of the storms we've had so far. Today we've really not had much or any rotation that we've been concerned about on radar until this storm started to pop up a little bit. There's a better look at radar. Looks like we're getting our next scan in. Still disorganized, but still organized enough that we're going to have to keep watching this, as it really just sits over the river. So that's kind of the best option right now, instead of moving through populated areas. If it'll just stay over the river, and Plymouth, you're on the river, but it's around that next bend, so it's still a ways from you, even though it's very, very close to you. It is not something right now that I think is going to be moving into the city limits here very quickly. So here's back to that picture we just got. Was this from Plymouth? Do we have an exact location where this picture was from?
Near the Dardens area,
Okay.
Outside of just in Martin County, so like right across, right before you get to Plymouth. So roughly about 3 to 4 miles to the south and west of Plymouth is where this funnel cloud was taken.
Yeah, I've been here about 2.5 years. This might be the best funnel cloud picture we've gotten since I've been here. So this is the funnel in itself, very big, very well defined. This is where the storm's rotating. So where radar is, where our two radars are, we're measuring up here in the storm. We're not exactly down at ground level like we'd like to be. If it was a perfect world and we had radars everywhere, we'd like to be able to see this kind of lowest level. But right now we're up in this storm. So the fact that the way it looked earlier, and we got this, we're going to have to keep watching the storm closely, and hopefully it really just kind of starts to fall apart. We can go back to max 1 now, but thank you for getting that to us quickly so we can see that. That puts it a lot more into perspective versus what we're watching on radar. But man, glad that was not a tornado. It was a very, very big area of concern. Now the latest scan looks a little bit better, Russell, don't you agree?
Yeah, most of the strongest winds are on one side of the circulation compared to what we've seen in the past few minutes. Like earlier, we were seeing some very bright reds and bright greens. Now we're starting to see the greens beginning to wane a little bit. That is some encouraging news. It appears that there's some rain-cooled air trying to wrap in, at least within the circulation, cutting off at least the flow from some inflow of that.
You can see it on radar. You can see, I think we got that picture of that funnel when we were talking about if it was going to produce anything, it was going to be at that moment, because we are getting a little bit more rain to wrap around, which eventually does cool it off, cuts off the inflow, kind of keeps that storm from either getting stronger or keeping itself at the same level, which is why you don't see as many bright colors. Still some broad rotation we'll have to watch there. Now drifting more to the north, so this is right over the river. It's not exactly going right at Plymouth, which is good news. This area, if you live along the river, we're going to stay on the air for you, but hopefully that area has a less population density, and we can, if it strengthens, hopefully it'll stay over open water and not be an issue, open wooded areas. But for those who live along the river, we're not going to jump off air just because this is moving for trees and other areas rather than Plymouth. But I do like that this is lifting to the north. So if we loop this, we can kind of see what Russell was just talking about. You can see this storm has gone from having that backward C shape, which is what we look for, kind of kidney bean shape for tornadoes and supercells that are capable of producing tornadoes. It's a little more flat now as it starts to really just graze portions of Plymouth and head north. Even a little bit of hail starting to redevelop on this, probably pea to dime sized hail, nothing too big. The bigger hail was northeast of Jamesville. But this is a very close call still for Plymouth. So even though we're trending in the right direction, we're not ready to sound the all clear. Jamesville, you are completely in the clear. East side, earlier we kind of held on to you just in case, but this storm has moved off and not exactly going to back up. So this storm's going to continue, even though it's only moving at 10 miles an hour, it's going to continue to inch its way northeastward all the way up to other areas. If you're along Highway 45, if you're up near Edenton and you're watching this concern, do like the trend that maybe this is going to fall apart and not be tornadic anymore. Probably still going to have some heavy rain, probably still going to have some hail with it, but if we can lose the tornado threat with this storm, it becomes a lot less dangerous. And right now, not too concerned.
Yeah,
Russell,
starting
you see
to,
anything? I mean, there's a little bit of brighter colors on the edge here, but just looking at what.
There's still a little bit of rotation, but it's starting to separate a little
Yeah.
bit, which is encouraging. Also,
This
I'm
was
not-
the area earlier in the storm that had the better rotation. Now it's about right here, so we'll keep watching it, but I think it's starting to lose some momentum that it had earlier and was able to kind of gain earlier. So Plymouth, stay in your tornado safe spots just a little bit longer. Looks like they've trimmed this warning a little bit. They've trimmed one warning, haven't they?
Yes, the warning has been trimmed a little bit towards the. I do know that the Martin County, Washington County side, that warning will expire at 5:45. But I wouldn't be surprised if they extend it, especially given what's been in place. It looks like that warning has been allowed.
Yeah,
to
I think
expire,
they've gotten
so-
rid of the large warning. So
But there still
there's
is
a lot of
severe-
polygons. So initially we just had this one area under a tornado warning. Then they just redrew it and issued a larger polygon to cover the whole area. We're now back down to a severe thunderstorm warning for most of the area and a tornado warning there right along the river. Plymouth, about 5 more minutes and we can give you the all clear, but just don't want to preemptively tell you you're fine and then things not be fine. So stay in your safe spots just a little bit longer, but I do like the trend with this. One radar looks a little bit more concerning than the other, but based on a radar, I don't think we get a tornado right there. I think that's just probably some very heavy rain and some wind coming down with that rain that maybe makes it a little bit more concerning.
That's another point you mentioned too, Zach, is outside of the tornado threat, there's a lot of heavy rain ongoing within this storm, much needed rain in this area.
Yeah.
There's also some strong winds as well. I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting, down in Plymouth, if you're getting around 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts at times, but looks like at least in terms of where that original area of concern was circulation-wise, it looks like it's moving just a little bit further towards the north, but again, we'll still keep an eye on this storm very closely as we go over the next few hours. And I've also been watching that other storm too, back towards the west near Tarboro also, Zach, and at least right now that still has the severe thunderstorm warning tag to it for a while, until 6.
Yeah, keep an eye on that one. And I think we'll be able to go back to news here in just a bit. But do still technically have one active tornado warning. Can you ask, that's Wakefield's tornado warning, isn't it?
Yes, that one is being controlled in Wakefield, Virginia.
Can you ask them if they plan on canceling that, like the National Weather Service office in Moorhead did? The river is the border between National Weather Service office up in Virginia and our local National Weather Service office that covers most of our area down in Newport, Moorhead City. So this is kind of where they hand things off. And unfortunately, that area of rotation was kind of right over that border this entire time. So there were a lot of different polygons, but props to both offices for handling this the right way. Just making sure everybody was in that tornado polygon just in case this thing kind of continued to drift a little bit more right, which it did end up doing. So looks like they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning, the tornado possible tag. That's why this polygon has changed color on us. But still technically a tornado warning for the Bertie side of the river and a severe thunderstorm warning for is that still Martin County, or would that be over into Washington County?
So it looks like now that the severe thunderstorm warning here has been, so they're continuing it at least for Martin and Washington counties until 6 p.m. The only thing that's changed here is they've added the tornado possible tag just in case the rotation tightens up again. And then the tornado warning, at least on the Bertie County side from the Wakefield, Virginia office, they're still continuing that until 6 p.m. as of right now.
Okay. And they just told you that?
At least currently, I haven't received a word yet back from them in terms of an update.
They're still in that window where they can cancel it. There is a window as we get closer to the expiration of these warnings that they just can't cancel them anymore. But I believe we're still in that range where they can cancel it. We'll see if they do that, because not only is the tornado threat starting to really fall apart, the hail threat doesn't even look as high. Probably still some dime-sized, pea-sized, probably more pea-sized hail than anything. But even that's starting to look like a little bit better of an outlook. Edenton, you're kind of next. Anyone along the western edge of the sound, already underneath the heavy rain, some lightning, but really looking more like a hail threat at this moment. But we had that picture earlier of the funnel cloud, which is why we were on air with this as soon as they issued the warning, because we can really kind of see where that threat was starting to organize. And still no confirmed reports of a touchdown or damage or anything like that, which is great. But the look of that funnel was very threatening, and just something we needed to take serious.
I'll be completely honest, Zach. That was one of the best funnel pictures I've seen in this
that looked like an
area.
Oklahoma funnel, not an Eastern North Carolina funnel.
Yeah, that condensation funnel was pretty intense, and yeah, any bit lower than we would have been talking about a tornado in progress. But
yeah, if our tornado environment had been a little bit higher, we would have had a tornado. I'm not saying we didn't have a tornado, just we've had a lot of eyes on this, a lot of reports, real time, funnel clouds, pictures, but we have not heard of any damage or any reports. So since we still have a tornado warning on air, we're going to stick with this. This expires about 10 minutes, and so they may be past that window where they can cancel it. But if there was any tornado threat, it'd be kind of Plymouth across the river. So Plymouth, you're still technically not in that tornado warning anymore. We're going to give it maybe another 2 to 3 minutes before we kind of sound the all clear. The next scan should take this kind of north just a little bit, maybe more closer to the, I'm trying to remember where the paper plant is. I believe, I think it's east of downtown, so it'd probably be right here. I think the paper plant, I think this is the road that goes up north, back to the river, back towards the plant. So if there was a tornado with this, it'd be probably right over the river or across the river from you, Plymouth. And the next scan would take it either completely across the river or maybe a little more down the river towards the paper plant there. So this next warning expires in about 9 minutes, so it's not much longer. That'll take us up to WITN News at 6. So producers, guys in the back, at 6 o'clock, this warning should expire. We should just be able to jump right into the 6 o'clock or go to commercial and kind of reorganize before we start the 6 o'clock. But just don't want to go off air if we do have something that maybe radar's missing or we're not getting reports on, since we still do technically have a tornado warning in effect, and also still have a thunderstorm moving out of the Rocky Mount area that's warned for tornado possible. It's usually the step before a tornado warning. It's a severe storm. There may be signs of rotation, but it's not worth a tornado warning just yet. That's why our colors kind of change, or our polygons change colors, just so we can get a better idea of what's going on. Russell, anything I'm missing? Anything over there?
No, not at all. In fact, as of right now, the Morehead City office continues to mention how the rotation still isn't quite as strong near Plymouth. They're going to continue to monitor it closely. That's why they went ahead and replaced the original severe thunderstorm warning that was in place along with the tornado warning, with the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. And as for the storm in Edgecombe County, that continues until 6:30.
I don't see any tornado threat with this right now, do you?
Yep, this is more of
There's some straight line winds
threat. Yep, compared to, because for a
Switch
tornado
wind.
you would need to have strong gate-to-gate shear. We don't see
We're
that
using
right
the Raleigh radar site here, so we're getting a little bit better data than we would over Plymouth. So a little more confident in the fact that we're not seeing anything too concerning there. But there it goes. So yeah, a very heavy rain about to move through Tarboro, severe thunderstorm warning. Do not see a tornado threat with this at this time, but still have this storm that we're watching for a very low, if not next to zero, tornado threat. Earlier, that threat was ramping up a little bit, but its window for producing a tornado was really brief. And so far, have not had any reports of damage or a touchdown, which is great news, because that funnel cloud was a serious one. It was not the typical very small tornadoes we would get. That would have been a pretty big tornado if it had finished the process and connected to the ground. So very interesting to see if we'll get any reports out of that. Any damage reports over the next hour as more word comes in. But really, it's looking a lot the weakest it's been in a long time. This is the same storm that moved through Pitt County, gave us wind and hail, moved through Beaufort County, gave us wind and hail on the west side of Washington. So this storm has had a history of being kind of the storm of the day. It's funny, every time we have severe weather, there's usually one storm we can point back to that caused most of the issues, and this is the same one. It's now slowed down to just about 10 miles per hour, and that's why it really has not moved much. It's jumped from Jamesville to Plymouth over the past 30 minutes, and you can drive that stretch probably in less than 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. So it has taken some time for it to get over here. Russell, you seen anything I'm missing?
As of right now, still broad, like just weak rotation with this system.
Yeah, very weak.
The Wakefield office mentioned that they're still holding it on the tornado warning, at least for Bertie County, until 6 p.m. Even though it has weakened, there still see some evidence of rotation as of right now. But yeah, at this point, it's looking like the storm has become a product of its own environment. It's really starting to at least rain cooled air is really starting to affect, especially parts of the storm on the western side. And at this point, mainly just a rain and lightning threat at this point. Maybe some small hail mixing in, but nothing really screams out at this moment an imminent tornado threat.
Yeah, Russell, you think Plymouth is safe? You agree with me on that?
Yeah, Plymouth at this point is safe.
Plymouth, you can get out of your hallways, your bathrooms, your closets. You can go back to kind of living life. Did they just trim that, or did they? I think they just trimmed that tornado warning, right?
The tornado warning. No, it's still the same polygon.
I think they just trimmed something on the back edge of this right here. Maybe I'm seeing things. They just issued a new tornado warning?
A severe thunderstorm warning just issued. This goes in effect at least until 6:45 p.m. Storm is moving northeast at 15 miles an hour. It was located near the Westover area, which is right across from Plymouth. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail will be the main threats with this storm.
So Edenton, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning. You're not in the tornado warning, but you are in this severe thunderstorm warning. So in about 4 minutes, we are going to go back to programming the news. We're going to talk, maybe go to commercial break first. So those in the control room, let's get ready for that, because this warning, I don't think we'll get another tornado warning out of this. One thing to watch, though, it's moving towards water. It's been hugging the river right now. It's going to go over the sound. We'll watch and see if maybe a water spout can develop. It's a little bit easier for that to happen than a tornado. So we'll keep an eye on that. So Edenton, even though it's severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, I would keep an eye on this storm. Maybe not stray too far away. One, you don't want to be out driving in some of this heavy rain, and even a little bit of hail still showing up at times, but kind of just want to let this storm pass over the next probably 40 minutes or so. It's still not moving very fast, but it's picked up the pace a little bit, maybe 20 miles an hour instead of 10. But as it moves over the water, you might be able to get a situation where a water spout could form versus a tornado. So Edenton will keep an eye on that for you, but I just wouldn't stray too far just yet. Plymouth, you're fine. Skinnersville, you're fine. Pretty much anywhere right over the Roper area. You may need to watch this if it jogs a little bit more east, but we'll keep an eye on it. But I do think the tornado threat has passed for the moment. Hopefully good. Hopefully for good. I don't think this is a day where we're going to get storms to cycle and go back to producing tornadoes. I think that was just kind of a meteorological fluke where that storm put on the brakes, slowed down, made a right turn, increased the spin in the atmosphere for that one storm to tap into. Because like I mentioned earlier, this is the only storm that's had any sign of rotation. We've not had any tornado warnings today. But besides this storm that was producing tornado warnings. So about 3 minutes away before they officially expire this tornado warning.
There is some good news. The Weather Service in Wakefield said that this tornado warning will be allowed to expire at 6 p.m.
All right, perfect.
The tornado threat has diminished and tornado warning has been canceled. However, large hail and damaging winds will remain likely with this storm, and a severe thunderstorm warning will remain in effect for the area at least until 6:45.
Okay, perfect. So 2 minutes, and that's when we're going to kind of start over. We're going to go back to the opening for WITN News at 6. Dave will come on, and we'll probably check back in with me about the storms that we're watching as they continue to push off to the north. But just to give you a broad view of what's happening, we've cleared out down to the south. I don't really think any of these are going to be severe. Maybe the one in extreme northern Duplin County has a little bit better of an environment to become severe again. But the atmosphere mostly worked over, so these showers and thunderstorms kind of moving over the same areas that have already seen clouds and rain today, and that kind of cools us off, stabilizes the atmosphere, reduces the severe threat. The storms that are severe, those are moving away. So those are going to continue to move up towards the state line, get out of our area, but still going to be something we'll keep an eye on just in case. So severe threat should be dropping. Coast, you should be fine. But we will continue to keep an eye on what storms we do have out there just in case something else flares back up. So 5:59, we were wrapping this up. Give one final check on it just to make sure it's not getting stronger again. But we are starting to see, we should see the red polygon disappear here within the next 45 seconds or so. Russell, you see anything with this storm strengthening back up?
No, in fact, the amount of lightning that the storm had earlier has started to lessen, and that's encouraging. The less lightning you see, the weaker the storm is getting, the less updrafts that the storm is also receiving as well. And plus, it's getting ready to move over a marine environment, a stable environment over the Albemarle Sound. So that may actually at least hold off the severe weather potential